guys, for today's video I'm going to talk you through a Disney bracket that I did with my girlfriend tonight. I'm not going to go through every single movie because we did a 16, 32, 64 movie bracket, so going through the whole thing would be a little bit excessive, but just giving some of the highlights. Basically the bracket we did was broken up by the classic Disney eras plus a little extras. So we had gold and silver era together, the bronze and renaissance era together, modern era was all kind of its own thing, and then there was a little Pixar section. So for the gold and silver era, it was movies like Snow White, Peter Pan, Jungle Book, Bambi, Pinocchio, Dumbo, Cinderella, all those. Out of that whole section, basically it came down to Peter Pan as the main movie of those two eras, like as far as our preference goes, and that was one thing that I think we both kind of agreed on, my girlfriend and I. So I think that might also be like a fairly common take for the movies in that era. There's a lot of movies in that era that I don't think anyone really knows. Saludos Amigos, and trying to look for other ones. Was Brave? No, Fantasia, which I think people know, but I don't think anyone would consider it like one of the top movies of the era. So yeah, Peter Pan was the main one that came out of that. For me, it was close between that and like a Jungle Book or maybe Snow White, 101 Dalmatians, but really Peter Pan was far and away the best in that era. For the Bronze and Renaissance era, you're talking about the movies like Beauty and the Beast, Tarzan, Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Lion King, really like the heavy hitters of what we kind of consider classic Disney, rather than like old school original Disney. So out of those movies, that's where things got a little, I guess, testy between my girlfriend and I. For me, the big winner of that era is Aladdin. I think it's by far the most well-rounded movie that I would argue that it's the most well-rounded movie that Disney's ever made. Just in terms of comedy and storyline and romance and intensity and all that kind of stuff, I thought it was a very, very well done movie. Her contention was that Beauty and the Beast was better, which I'll admit I understand. I understand why her perspective is that Beauty and the Beast is better. The big differentiator between the two is Beauty and the Beast doesn't have that comedy aspect that Aladdin does, and not only does Aladdin have that comedy aspect, but that comedy aspect is given by the genie, who's played by Robin Williams, one of, if you were to rank the top 5 comedians of all time, I'm sure Robin Williams would probably make his way in there just because of his impact through movies and people's lives in general with all his movies and even his stand-up and old TV show and all that kind of stuff. It's just very, very impactful on the most past like 3 generations probably. So yeah, that's why Aladdin is such a heavy favorite for me. Also in the category, Tarzan, I think, deserves some recognition for by far the best soundtrack out of a Disney movie, at least in my opinion. And then out of like pure romance, like for romance quality, I would give that to Beauty and the Beast, as far as like cute love story kind of thing. And it's up there. It's a very, very good movie, just not to the same level as Aladdin for me. We also had the modern era movies, which was Moana, Lilo and Stitch, Tangled, Zootopia, Brother Bear, Frozen, not Toy Story, sorry. Frozen, Big Hero 6. So a lot of those kind of movies, basically the range is everything between Moana and the oldest one, I believe, would be Brother Bear, probably. So everything between that time period. For me, if I was doing this bracket by myself, Brother Bear might have been the winner. There was also Big Hero 6 and Meet the Robinsons, both of which are like top 5 Disney movies for me. But Brother Bear was a movie I grew up with just loving. And it's hard to say because I think quality of like a plot and stuff, it's not as strong as some of the other movies in the category. Like I think Big Hero 6 has a stronger storyline, I would say, than Brother Bear. But at the end of the day, one movie that I haven't brought up that we kind of agreed on being the favorite in the category is Wreck-It Ralph. Wreck-It Ralph, I believe, is one of the most underrated movies that Disney has made in the past few years. I think a lot of people just kind of discount it as like a cute, cheeky video game thing that was supposed to appeal to retro audiences and throwbacks and all that kind of stuff, which Wreck-It Ralph 2 definitely beat like to death the whole nostalgia aspect of things, but the original story of Wreck-It Ralph and the acting that's done between Sarah Silverman and all that kind of stuff is very, very good to me. The plot's very original. It has a totally different vibe than Toy Story. Like, my first thought of Wreck-It Ralph was that it was going to be too similar to Toy Story for me. But I think it was very, very unique and well done. So Wreck-It Ralph won that category. And then our last category was the Pixar movies. So Toy Story, Monsters, Inc., Finding Nemo, Up, Brave, Ratatouille, Coco, Cars, Incredibles. Very, very strong category. It's hard to throw all the Pixar movies in one category, but these are like the Disney Pixar movies and some of the favorites out of that category. So this is a category where I was kind of surprised by myself that Toy Story wasn't as impressive to me. In this category, my favorites were probably Monsters, Inc., Ratatouille, Incredibles. Those are all great, great movies to me. My girlfriend insists that the best movie in this category is Toy Story 3, because I don't even know why she would say that it's the best movie. She looks like a claw? I don't know. She's talking to me right now, but I can't hear her. But whatever explanation she has for Toy Story 3 being the best movie, I don't agree with it. Pretty much, she reluctantly agreed that Monsters, Inc. was very, very close as a favorite in this category. I don't know what she's trying to say. I'm trying to decipher her hand signs, but I'm just going to ignore her and finish my video. So, Monsters, Inc., we decided, won this category. She's trying to tell me that they were tied. That's what she's trying to tell me. That Toy Story 3 and Monsters, Inc. are tied. I don't agree. She completely discounted my opinion of the fact that Monsters, Inc. is superior. And I believe that based on the fact that she thinks that Monsters, Inc. and Toy Story 3 are tied, and I think Monsters, Inc. should win, that means for the whole overall category, if both our opinions matter equally, then Monsters, Inc. wins. Anyway, we'll move on, and that brings our final tiers down to Wreck-It Ralph competing against Monsters, Inc., and then Peter Pan competing against Aladdin, because I pushed through Aladdin over Beauty and the Beast. At the end of the day, if we were to pick between all movies for the championship, it probably would have been between Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin, because that's really the two that both of us agreed would beat out all the other movies by our own opinion. Out of the four, Peter Pan was probably the lowest. Wreck-It Ralph is very, very good, probably over Monsters, Inc. So inverse order would be Aladdin, Wreck-It Ralph, Monsters, Inc., Peter Pan. But she would say Beauty and the Beast instead of Aladdin, which, again, I do understand that argument. I think it would have been interesting to do this bracket over in such a way that Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast were in separate categories. Like, do a Disney section and have all the Disney princesses together. Beauty and the Beast would far and away win the Disney section if you consider Belle to be a Disney princess, which she is. And yeah, this ended up being a very long video now. I'm looking at it. But overall, definitely an activity that, I don't know, I love doing these kind of things. I like doing them by myself. Doing them with someone is very, very interesting, because it's sometimes weird to see the types of opinions that other people have that you can't even fathom being so different than yours. This one, we didn't have a lot of that. Like, I do understand the Beauty and the Beast take by my girlfriend, but I've definitely done this with, like, my friends in the past and stuff, and they'll insist that a movie like Zootopia is the best Disney movie ever made, and I'll just gag at the thought of that. So, with all that being said, I should wrap this video up here. As always, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in tomorrow's episode.